Week 1 of the NFL season is here, and if you want the Cowboys to shock the world and upset the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 1, I need you to like today's video. We have the data to prove it. The more likes we get, the more likely it is the Cowboys will take down the Eagles. So help us out and like today's show. The Cowboys are on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 1 to kick off the NFL season. It is a primetime game, Thursday night football. The Eagles are favored to the surprise of nobody. Obviously, right? 7.5-point favorites at home. I'm actually a little bit surprised it's not higher, but maybe it's the factoring in Week 1 can kind of be a little messy, a little sloppy, a little understated. Eagles going to have the ring ceremony. Not going to be fun to watch, but, you know, that's how it goes when they win the Super Bowl and you play in Week 1. Eagles are right to be favored in this particular matchup. I don't think it's certainly a surprise at all that the Cowboys are underdogs in this game. They have to be better. A lot of unknowns on Dallas, including the new head coach in Brian Schottenheimer. Breaking down the first Cowboys injury report, like we mentioned on Monday Night Show, pretty good stuff here. Trevon Diggs, a full participant amid his knee injury. Tyler Guyton, a full participant. Brevyn Spann-Ford was a full participant. Nobody else even on the injury report. Very clean outside of Perrion Winfrey. I do think there's a real chance he does not play against the Eagles amid back tightness. Cowboys had to have a scratch anyway along the defensive line, but is noteworthy there on Winfrey. Eagles injuries to watch. A.J. Brown is actually no longer listed on the injury report. He's a full go after his hamstring injury. I don't know how to spell G-O-U there with go. That's weird. Jalen Carter, a full participant. Nothing to worry about there. Joshua Uche, limited with a groin. Andrew Mukuba, limited with his hamstring. We're a couple days away, but limited early, quote-unquote, in the week. Normally means pretty good things. 2 to monitor. Landon Dickerson kind of had a Tyler Guyton injury where it sounded way worse than it ended up actually being, but did not participate Monday. Puts his availability very much into doubt. Tanner McKee's the backup quarterback, so it doesn't really matter all that much, but he did not participate with a thumb injury. I would bet he is inactive in Week 1. Dickerson is the one to watch. More keys to victory to come on today's show, plus my score prediction. But before we get to that, I want you to type F Chase for our Eagles host here at Chat Sports in the comments section of today's show. Some good-natured trolling. The most comments on today's video gets a free jersey raffle entry. So spam F Chase for me in the comments section of today's show. All right, key to victory number 1. You got to find a way to limit Saquon Barkley. This was the best running back in football last season. Had a real case for MVP. 2,000 yards in 16 games. This was not we got to play an extra game and got more yardage. Nope, did it in 16 games. 345 carries. History does tell us that after a massive workload, your play does normally drop off a little bit after a singular season. Wasn't overly involved in the passing game, about 2 catches per game, but we know how dynamic he can be with the ball in his hands. Bottling up Barkley will be one of the biggest things for the Dallas Cowboys in in Thursday's matchup, And the run defense has to play a huge part of that. Hopefully the addition of Kenny Clark helps you there, but this run defense wasn't very good last year. They faced 11 post runs in football. They allowed the most touchdowns. They were bottom 5 in yards per game, in yards per carry. They were bottom 2 in stuff rate, EPA per rush, expected points added, dead last in football. Most teams don't have efficiency with EPA and positive EPA per play when running the football. Every team on average faced the Cowboys sure did. They were bottom 5 in yards before contact. Still only 20th in yards after contact, despite stacking the box at a top 10 rate. How the run defense fares if they get gashed up front, going to be a lot of conversation on that. I do feel better about it with Kenny Clark, but I don't want to let one player determine. It's not fair to expect it. One player to save one entire unit. It's not realistic. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. It is simple to play. Pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. They also mentioned the flex play. You can get one wrong and still cash out, even if your lineup isn't perfect. Max discount for week 1, Dak Prescott more than a half passing yard. It's a no-brainer. Put it in every single one of your lineups. Here's one of my power play lineups. The Dak half passing yard, obviously. Xavier Worthy, more than 3.5 yards per carry. Ashton Genty, more than a half touchdown as well. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. Key to victory number 2, the passing offense has to be great. That is going to be a common key to victory, I suspect, a lot this season. You need the 2023 or 2021 version of Dak Prescott and this passing game. If he does not play well, fair or not, it's not going to work. He needs to be great in this matchup. He has to be. This is why you paid him. That's not to say it's all Dak's fault or it's all Dak's credit, good or bad, but he has to play well. His top playmakers have to play well. You need CeeDee Lamb to ball out. You need George Pickens to show you some good stuff. In fact, Pickens might be even more important, given who will probably get matched up against. He'll probably get plenty of the Eagles' other corner, not named Quinyon Mitchell Cooper DeJean. That is a matchup in favor of George Pickens. I think Jake Ferguson needs to have a nice day over the middle of the field. You paid all 3 of those guys, / you traded for George Pickens. In the biggest moments, in the best games, it's not 100% on them, but they do have to play well. Otherwise, the end results are definitely not going to be in your favor because they can play well, and if other keys which don't happen, it is what it is, but it kind of starts with your dynamic passing offenses. So give me your score prediction of the Cowboys against Eagles. We'll get to mine later on in today's show. Give me your score prediction in the comments between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Number 3 is pressure, but also contain Jalen Hurts. With these mobile quarterbacks, you have to keep them in the pocket. Easier said than done. Some under pressure stats from Hurts, who is by no means god-awful under pressure, but like all quarterbacks, not as good under pressure. He was 21 of 36 among qualifying QBs on NFL's next-gen stats on under pressure dropback, so didn't get pressured that much, frankly. EPA per play was negative, which isn't overly shocking because they were all negative under pressure. Every quarterback was last year. The completion was not very good. Only 45% of his passes got completed. Hurts was better last year under pressure. In years past, teams had just straight up blitzed him, and the Eagles had no answers. They finally found some answers last year, and it led to better touchdowns, lower interceptions, little high on the sacks, though, and he holds the ball. Hurts is not a quick decision maker under pressure, but mobile guys almost always have a longer time to throw because they can buy time with their legs. You got to get pressure on Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't mind blitzing him. So it's not all on my pass rush of Dante Fowler and Marshawn Nealon and Sam Williams and Ezraku and maybe James Houston. I think Oso Odighizuwa and Kenny Clark can get pressure too. I wonder if you can attack, and we'll spend more time on this later if on a future show, if you can pick on Tyler Steen. I think he's the weak point, if there is one, on the Eagles' offensive line. But if you let Hurts just sit back there, have all day, and chuck bombs downfield, he's really good downfield, not so good over the middle of the field, it's going to be a long day for you. Now, we'll be live for Cowboys versus Eagles. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/Cowboys TV. Join us for our always fun, entertaining watch parties. Number 4, I do need something out of the run game. Something has to show up because this is a Cowboys ground game that we haven't really seen much of. And we saw some more gaps, some more power concepts in the preseason, but that's the preseason. We haven't seen Devontae Williams take one real carry or even a fake carry in the preseason as a member of the Dallas Cowboys roster. The Eagles' defense last year may not be as good. They lost some pieces, but not as good. Could still be top 5. Number 1 in total yards, number 1 in passing yards allowed, 10th in rushing yards. I do wonder if the Cowboys try to get something resembling a ground game going. I will make note, it does require the ground game to work, though. If the run game doesn't work and you try to get it going, you're actually setting up your passing offense to be in a really bad spot. So try to run the ball, yes, but you almost have to have a quick hook or else you're going to get yourself into a lot of 3rd and 7s. And that's not a spot you ever want to be in, especially against the Vic Fangio defense, given some of the historical issues Dak has had against the Vic Fangio defense. So will the Cowboys' ground game be better this year? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Will the Cowboys' ground game be better? The 5th and final key to victory, Brian Schottenheimer has to play the always valuable nobody believes in us card. It works. I've seen Kirby Smart somehow play it after a national championship and get his team to believe that the experts thought they were going to win 6 games. It was nonsense. It's easier to play when you're coming off the Micah Parsons trade, when you are heavy underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles. You should try to play the shock the world card, us against the world. I've seen it work and be effective in the past. I think it is a good card to play if you're a good enough head coach and to play it. Doesn't mean you can actually win with it. It's not a guarantee. But I do think getting the no one believes in us mindset going, us against the world, I think you do have to play it if you're Schottenheimer to get these guys fired up, to get them locked in on a game after another tumultuous offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. Despite that, I do have the Eagles winning this one. I wish I was picking something else. I hope they win. I'll be cheering for them to win, but I'm never going to sit here and lie about my predictions or what I think happens and put things with, all sugar on top if I don't believe it. So I'll pick them to win week 2. I'll pick them to win a bunch this year, but I don't think the Cowboys win this one. I've got the Eagles coming out on top 29-20.